New York, one of the world's greatest cities, is always a whirlwind of activity, with famous sights around every corner and never enough time to see them all. Some people come to see the Broadway shows. Others come to shop and eat. And still others come to see the sights, such as the Statue of Liberty, the Empire State Building, the Brooklyn Bridge, Central Park, historic neighborhoods, and numerous world-renowned museums. Many of the best places to visit in New York are within walking distance of one another or are only a short train ride away, making sightseeing in this city a breeze. The High Line and One World Observatory, two newer tourist attractions in New York that opened in recent years, provide unique perspectives of the city. There is always something to see and do in New York, no matter what time of year it is or what time of day or night it is. Even if the city doesn't have its usual high-energy vibe this year, that doesn't mean you shouldn't go. The city has become a different place as a result of the lower number of tourists, making it less expensive to explore and easier to visit, with shorter lines at popular attractions. You might want to take advantage of having the city to yourself. Today, we'll discuss the top 10 places to visit in New York. Make sure to click the like button. And subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos in the future. Number 10. Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty, America's most iconic site, is at the top of every first-time visitor's list of things to do in New York. It was France's gift to the United States. It is a world symbol of freedom and one of America's top attractions, having been built in 1886. It stands just under 152 feet tall from base to torch and weighs about 450,000 pounds, making it one of the world's largest statues. The statue can be seen from land, with particularly good views from Battery Park on Manhattan's southern tip. To truly appreciate the Statue of Liberty, however, taking a short boat ride to Liberty Island and seeing it up close is the best option. You can walk around the base, enter the pedestal, or go right up to the crown with advance reservations. When taking a tour of the Statue of Liberty, you can stop at Ellis Island and visit the Immigration Museum. This fantastic museum is housed in the historic Immigration Station complex, which saw thousands of immigrants processed before being allowed to enter the United States. Number 9. Central Park. A stroll, pedal, or carriage ride through Central Park's crisscrossing pathways is a must-do on anyone's New York City bucket list. You can even lace up your skates and glide across Wallman Rink in the winter. One of the things that makes New York such a beautiful and livable city is this massive park in the city center, which is a half-mile wide and 2.5 miles long. Apart from being a great place to get some fresh air, Central Park has a plethora of attractions within its boundaries, the majority of which are free, making it one of the few inexpensive things to do in NYC. The Belvedere Castle, Strawberry Fields, Central Park Zoo, and the lake are among the most popular places to visit. If you're going to explore the park on your own, get a map from one of the visitor centers and plan your route. Number 8. Empire State Building. The Empire State Building is a well-known landmark and popular tourist attraction in New York City. Until the One World Trade Center tower rose higher 41 years later, the 381-meter-tall, 102-story structure was the world's tallest. When it first opened in 1931, the Empire State Building, which was topped with an airship mooring mast, became a landmark and a symbol for New York City. The Empire State Building has two observatories, both of which offer spectacular views. On clear days, you can see up to 80 miles into New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and Massachusetts, which are all neighboring states. The line to climb the Empire State Building is almost always long, moves slowly, and can be ridiculously long during peak times, making the experience more frustrating than it needs to be. Be aware that this one attraction alone can easily consume half of your touring day. Number 7. 9/11 Memorial and Museum. The twin 110-story World Trade Center towers once dominated the Manhattan skyline before being destroyed by suicide-piloted jetliners on September 11, 2001, resulting in a tragic loss of life. Two 1-acre square reflecting pools have been built where the World Trade Center's two towers once stood. The pools are recessed, surrounded by trees and grass, with water cascading over the sides and flowing into a seemingly bottomless square. Between the two pools is the 9/11 Memorial Museum, which is housed in an architecturally stunning, curving glass building. Number 6. High Line. The High Line, a former rail line that has been transformed into an urban walking trail above the city streets, is an exciting and recently expanded attraction in New York City. This one-of-a-kind linear public park is home to a diverse collection of plants and trees, many of which are native to the area. Many of these blossom in the spring. In most areas, the park is lined with glass railings, giving it a natural feel while still providing spectacular views of the city. From Gansevoort Street on the south end, just south of West 13th Street, to West 34th Street on the north end, this oasis on Manhattan's west side runs parallel to 10th Avenue for the most part. It is accessible at various points along the route, some of which have only stair access and others that have both stair and elevator access. Despite the fact that the High Line is only 2 to 3 stories above street level, the views of the city's architecture and lookouts over the streets provide a completely different perspective. Art installations, benches, and a sitting area with bleacher-style seating and a glass wall looking out onto the city can be found along the route. Number 5. Times Square. Times Square, which is lined with massive, brightly lit billboards and screens, is the place to be in New York in the evening, but it's also exciting at any time of day. New York's New Year's Eve celebrations take place here, including the famous ball drop at midnight, when the square and surrounding streets are packed with people. Times Square is bustling and always crowded, but it has its own distinct appeal. The bleachers at one end are a great place to relax and take in the scenery. Longacre Square was renamed Times Square in 1904 after the New York Times Tower. In 1928, the newspaper became the first in the world to display current headlines on a moving sign. Number 4. Brooklyn Bridge. The Brooklyn Bridge is one of the city's most recognizable landmarks, with its Gothic-shaped arches and suspension cables inspiring generations of poets, songwriters, and painters. This historic bridge, which connects Manhattan and Brooklyn across the East River, was the world's first steel suspension bridge when it opened in 1883. Many ferries in the east side of Manhattan offer views of it, but the best way to see it is to take an hour and walk across the Brooklyn Bridge. Only pedestrians and cyclists have access to a wood plank walkway that runs above the traffic lanes. If you don't feel like walking the entire distance, at least get to the first pillar, where there is a viewing platform where you can get a close look at one of the granite towers. Beautiful views of Manhattan, the East River, and the Statue of Liberty can be seen from the bridge. Cycling over the bridge is another option, but pedestrian traffic can be heavy on busy days, making cycling slow and difficult. Keep in mind that the bridge's entrance is set back from the water's edge. Number 3. Cathedral of St. Patrick. With its massive bronze doors, white marble facade, 330-foot spires, the great organ, rose window, bronze baldachin, 2,400 seating capacity, and the statue of Pietà at the side of the Lady Chapel, St. Patrick's Cathedral is one of New York's finest examples of Gothic Revival architecture. The cathedral attracts millions of visitors each year, making it a popular destination for both believers and tourists. The structure was built in 1879 and has been meticulously restored and maintained over the years, including a $200 million renovation completed in 2016. Number 2. Bryant Park. On a hot summer day, nothing beats a relaxing afternoon at Bryant Park. There are monuments and gardens on the grounds, as well as La Carousel, a popular carousel. For a small fee, chess, checkers, and backgammon boards are available in a games area. Until 1989, when the city reclaimed Bryant Park and transformed it into a beautiful urban oasis, it was a seedy area known for crime and a hangout for undesirables. This park has been embraced by the community, and it is now a pleasure to walk through. Even if you don't want to play a game, watching others play is entertaining. The park is directly across the street from the New York Public Library. Number 1. Grand Central Terminal. Grand Central Terminal, also known as Grand Central Station, is a fantastic place to visit. The building first opened in 1913 as a terminal for the subway and train stations. Outside, the 42nd Street colonnaded faces and the statuary on top are some of the key highlights. Inside, you can't miss the grand staircase, where you can stop to gaze out over the concourse. The beautifully restored ceiling here shows a celestial scene. You'll also find an extensive selection of retail shops and restaurants inside. That's a wrap for top 10 places to visit in New York. Which place do you want to visit in New York? Let us know in the comment section below. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more future videos.